Mm-hmm. 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 Happy New Year from the Media Misfit, or at least a Media Misfit. I'm so alone in a parents' garage. But Happy New Year. New Year. There's no what better way to celebrate 2014 and me turning 18. It was my birthday. Yeah, I'm a New Year's baby. Then seeing probably the most R-rated, most vulgar, crass movie, and profane movie that came out 2013. Yeah, I saw Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese's latest magnum opus. The only other movie besides The Hobbit that bothers to be 3 hours long to be released in the mainstream audience. Just get the general plot ideas out of the way. It's basically it's based off the book of the real life retelling of Wall Street banker Jordan Belfort, played by Leo DiCaprio. From the 80s through I think at least the early, maybe at the latest the early 2000s, and how he used as a Wall Street broker, he manipulated the strategy of selling penny stocks to basically illegally make an entire stock empire in Wall Street of fraudulent stocks, and basically make millions off people middle class wealth with his group of lackeys led by Jonah Hill. And but a lot of press has been made about how pretty much this is basically an NC-17 movie. NC-17 movie, and how dare you, Martin Scorsese, release such a movie on Christmas Day, and when I think of it, I kind of like this. I really kind of love this movie. Uh, it's it's 3 hours. It's really long, but it's absolutely as encompassing of an experience as much as their main characters take drugs, and they take drugs basically all the time. Sorry. Yeah. It's basically okay, he takes no, he takes Quaaludes all the time. The drug use is a big point in this movie. They take Quaaludes basically regularly. Uh, not Advil, penicillin, morphine, just because it's awesome. Awesome. Just there's so much. Again, it's 3 hours, and you go through basically at least 2 decades worth of just him as a sort of innocent stockbroker who's mentored briefly by Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey in the movie is only in about 10-15 minutes of the movie. He's only in barely the first half hour, and then he's just gone because of Black Monday. And it's this. Well, I guess I have to start with the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Leo DiCaprio, who I've always grown I always hear a lot of people about obsessing over, oh, Leo DiCaprio, he's such an amazing actor, and why hasn't he earned an Oscar yet? And it's I've seen a lot of his movies before. The reason why this review is coming up later than I'm recording this later than usual is because I was watching the AV with my dad. Had another Martin Scorsese one. It's he's good, and I liked him generally all of his performances, but I liked generally all his performances, but he's never struck me as a particularly impressive actor. It's if you showed me this movie as his first performance for as a viewer's first performance of him, then you'd he'd live up to the hype, because this is a damn committed, insanely charismatic, out there performance. He's actually my favorite performance from an actor this of 2013 technically. It's he's presented as the salesman type, so even as he's going through just years and years upon rampant drug abuse, cheating, cheating on his on his wife, violence, money laundering, almost every crime under the sun outside of murder. You so sort of magnetized to his performance, and you even start to sympathize with him when he has these very brief glimpses of humanity in him. But he's just like he's for some reason he's Martin Scorsese's like muse, but like you will see him do everything, thing, like he does drugs off hookers' asses. He beats up his wife. He drunkenly crashes helicopters and runs over in his cars multiple times. This movie, there's this absolutely fantastic scene. I'll just call it the cerebral palsy scene. No offense, but like the cerebral palsy scene. You know it when you see this movie. It's an absolute brilliant piece of comedic physical slapstick that has never been seen in Leo DiCaprio. And it's just wow. And like he sells the comedy like in terms of verbal war, basically it's just very quick verbal warfare, and like selling the attitude of this very corrupt, morally selfish and egotistical maniac who somehow has given the control of so many millions of people's finances. And it's quite scary. I mean, like when you look at it in retrospect. Yeah, Jonah Hill, like honestly, he's good in it, and he just has a lot of good parts. But and like he comes around to he takes more of the spotlight as like the second half of this movie comes around. But overall, I think he definitely plays second fiddle, though he sells the idea of like how like you can take the spirit, like you see the appeal of this crime lifestyle of having all of this from like a middle class perspective and just going with it. And he's basically like they show how stupid he is, and the rest of his group by contrast, like his backstory involves him marrying his cousin. It's really disgusting. It's confusing, but like, he has this weird lisp, and has these like pearly white fake teeth. I think I'm not sure if they're fake or not, but like he's comedic. It's like but I think the real star of this, one of the real stars, like more important than Jonah Hill, is like Margaret Robbie as a Jordan's Belfort's second wife in the movie, who is just smoking in this movie, both sexually and just like on performance wise. Was like her Brooklyn accent it gets so used to you have to get used to it a bit. But she is just like she sizzles in the screen, both like she has this great sexual energy, but then she also has this very like commanding appearance. And it's over with sort of balance, finding back and forth between Leo DiCaprio as their marriage falls apart hard across this 3-hour crime epic of madness. It's really hard to explain from a particular detail that's spoiling too much of this movie. Let's see what else. It's just like this movie, like okay, to show you how like sort of Martin Scorsese is like 71 years old, but like this movie, like it's kind of like American Hustle. This movie just like it's like this movie just like it just hits the ground running, 3 hours long, but it's just like it has such rapid pacing and editing and like momentum and clever camera tricks and pans. And like it feels like it could have been directed by an Edgar Wright. Right, it could have been directed by Edgar Wright if he did like a mob movie. It's just so like fast and quick, and it's intense, and that's why like the pacing's really exhaustive that way, because it's again a 3-hour movie, and you're dealing with so much information, but like you're picked along with it because The movie's like Goodfellas. He has it's regularly narrated by Leo DiCaprio, and like he sometimes breaks the fourth wall with it. Like of the line the trailer is like like this year I made $39 million. This year I made $39 million, which really pissed me off because I could that was three shy of a million a week. I always loved how he emphasized the pissed off part of that. And he's like, and I like an IPO is an independent public opening, which you guys don't care. And he's just like, it really shows that again, the egotistical, like, condescending attitude towards the audience, and maybe that's why some people get mad because they're also upset. But this is again for 71 movie. This is do not take anyone under. That's like at least not in a high school to see this movie. At least not even freshman. At least junior probably, because this movie it is a hard R. Probably I like. This has more nudity, more hardcore full frontal nudity than than Don John, the one with all the porn in it. This is very shy. This is not. This is very like a few edits. This was a few edits shy of NC-17. And it shows you get T, A, and hair, all of it, all throughout the like. It's very regular. You get regular drug abuse, quaaludes, cocaine, the works. They say the F word exactly 506 times. That's record breaking for it's 3 hours, of course. Worse, but it is funny. It's I wouldn't say it's laugh out funny consistently, but it's never not engaging to see like this character study of just like how this morally bankrupt system of not even people who commit murder, but just like abuse not the generosity, but the people like the middle class people who actually worked hard for a living and are just like swept up in the idea of trying to like get the American dream quick. Heck, and it's just it's one I think you should see just because it's definitely a movie that's worth having your opinion on, and there are just tons of memorable moments into the movie. Like again, there's the cerebral palsy scene where they just overdose. They overdo it with the quaaludes, and Leo DiCaprio basically goes insane with his body in a way like he's like he's like that Pain game on PS3. There's just basically this entire set piece where they rip off Titanic, but instead of icebergs, it's just a giant, just bunches like 8 like successive tidal waves back and forth. Like there's a bunch of epic audio there's like the big fight scene between Leo and Margot. It's just like, and you see all in his interspersed with all these like big celebrity cameos. Like the mother from How I Met Your Mother is in it. You have Rob Reiner as his dad. You have Jon Favreau as some like I think is like some financial advisor. Ironic for like the place, but anyway, there was such like a great sense of trying to keep these short. It's just like it's just so engaging to see such corruption in like, but presented in a way that's like that feels very clear cut, but also it finds like sort of this overblown comedic in a very tragic way of how like we have given these people power, and that is how they use it with absolute excess. And when you come out of the movie, it's just like, what just happened? It really does feel like a giant party, and you're just really tired, and you're just upset. You're just like sort of overwhelmed by the host. It's just like he's funny, and he's really extravagant, but then he's also just like he's kind of obnoxious. But this is definitely one for the ages, I think. It's just like okay, it has an absolutely one of the a star defining performance in Leo DiCaprio. It has some absolutely spectacular and rejuvenated direction from Martin Scorsese. It's like a one of the perfectly pitch black comedy, and it's basically a giant like R-rated part. Like it's basically a giant orgy with lots of money in it. So check it out. Make time. You have to dedicate your entire day for it because again, it's a 3-hour movie. This is longer than The Hobbit because at least this has a beginning, middle, and end. So prepare for that. Uh, and catch you like maybe next with my video with another video review. So bye. Follow us.